Hello, everybody. My name is Kevin Nix, and welcome back to NASCAR Mailbox. This past weekend was the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Christopher Bell won himself $1 million with a late race move on Joey Logano. Logano originally took exception to the move, but he walked back his comments later in the week. It should come as no surprise that this week's question talks about Joey Logano. It is from Ryan Shirts TI6GS, and he says, Bell raced Logano as clean as possible. Had that been Logano in Bell's position, no doubt Logano would have shipped or wrecked Bell. I mostly agree in this situation. I think if you look back at moves that Logano has made, so obviously one of them was Martinsville 2018, when he moved Martin Truex Jr. out of the way to win. To me, that was fair. That's hard racing. That's for a champion. Another example, Darlington 2022, where Logano, I don't want to say he wrecked Byron. I don't want to say he wrecked William Byron in the final laps, but he had every intention of moving him out of the way and getting him out of the way, and Byron hit the wall. So I think the Darlington move was as borderline to dumping someone as it could have possibly been without it going over the line of actually intentionally wrecking someone. With that said, with Logano's track record, it definitely it would not have surprised me that if the roles were reversed, he absolutely would have at minimum moved Bell out of the way to win the race. In fact, Bell's move in the All-Star race actually reminded me of Logano's move on Truex in 2018 at Martinsville. He got underneath him, he slid him up the racetrack, they made a bunch of contact, and eventually Logano had to lift or else he would have wrecked. That's fairly similar to how Truex, that's fairly similar to how the 78 car was after Logano got into him. So, to me, I thought the move was fair, especially from someone like Bell, who's traditionally a very clean racer. And I think that factors into it as well. Christopher Bell is not typically someone who races very aggressively. He does not put his car in dangerous situations. And there's a lot of drivers who they'd wreck their grandma to win. Fairly likely Joey Logano is one of them, but or at least move their grandma out of the way to win. Most times Bell would not do that. I'm pretty confident in saying Bell would not. I was actually shocked that Bell moved Logano out of the way. I thought he was going to try to pass him cleanly, and you could see that he was trying to. Bell was trying to pass Logano cleanly for at least 6 or 7 laps, and that included Logano trying to put Bell into the wall in turn one about 4 laps before Bell got underneath the 22. The 22 car went up the racetrack in turn one. He was trying to crowd the 20 up to the wall. Bell almost hit the outside wall in turn one. He actually had to lift a little bit to regain his composure, regain his footing, and it took him, like I said, 2, 3 laps to get back to the 22. Where, of course, he tried his move again on the inside. So Bell definitely initially raced Logano very cleanly, and I think that's the reason why most people are okay with that move is because they know how the 20 car typically races. He's not a very aggressive driver. He's not going to wreck you for the win. So I think it's part the giving driver was Christopher Bell and the receiving driver was Joey Logano. Two drivers that, if the roles were reversed, the exact same outcome was fairly likely to have happened. And Logano admitted as such. He first said post race that if he got back to Bell, he was going to show him what fair was. He was either going to move Bell out of the way or he was going to spin him out. He walked back the comments later on, and he actually said later on, I think it was yesterday, Monday that is, he said that he would have done the same thing. And I think that's the end of it, honestly. So I'm not surprised that honestly, I'm not surprised at this question. I agree for the most part. I do think he would have moved him out of the way. I don't know if he would have wrecked him. Because to me, when I think he would have shipped him, I think of Austin Dillon, ironically enough, to Joey last year at Richmond. To me, that is shipping someone. So I don't know if he would have wrecked him, but he absolutely would have moved him out of the way. He would have done what the 20 car did to him. So I was overall very entertained by the race as a whole and that ending battle where Bell tried all he could to not get into him. especially at the beginning of the battle. But once it got to the closing laps and once Chastain started to close in, yeah, the 20 car definitely had to go at that point. And I can totally see why he moved him out of the way. And Logano still finished second. But as they say in the All-Star race, second place is the first. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of NASCAR Mailbox. This weekend, we have the double. We have the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600, and Kyle Larson will be attempting both races. Fingers crossed for great weather, and I hope everyone enjoyed the episode today. Bye-bye.
Steven Stump of Frontstretch.com here. Come back for more great racing videos, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.